You eat breakfast every morning and you're still exhausted by 2 p.m. You think that you need more sleep, you think that you need more coffee, but what if the meal that you're starting your day with is the exact thing that's draining you? You're not lazy, you're not undisciplined, you're just eating in a way that's working against your brain. Let me explain. I'm going to break down what's actually happening in your body, what the research says, and what changed when I finally started listening to what my body was telling me, because yours is telling you something too. You're not tired, your blood sugar is crashing. If you eat first thing in the morning, especially something carb heavy, and you crash a few hours later, that is not a you problem. That's your body responding to what you gave it. And it's been trying to tell you. When you eat carbs, your body breaks them into glucose and your blood sugar spikes. Then insulin pulls it back down, and if it overcorrects, you crash. A meta-analysis across 31 different studies found that eating carbohydrates decreased alertness within 60 minutes and increased fatigue within 30 minutes. That afternoon slump you think is normal is actually a measurable signal from your body. I lived through that cycle for years. Eat breakfast, crash by early afternoon, take a nap, and then feel horrible, so I would then reach for some matcha just so I could push through with focus that wasn't nearly as good as before I ate. I thought that everyone felt like that, and I wasn't paying attention to the pattern. The moment I started actually noticing how I felt after eating, not just what I ate, but how my body responded, everything shifted. The crash isn't random. Your body's been telling you, and the question is whether you've been listening. This might sound backwards, but your brain can be sharper when you haven't eaten. And once you understand why, you'll start paying attention to how your body responds to food versus fasting. When you fast, even just pushing your first meal to say around noon, your body shifts from burning glucose to producing ketones. Ketones are an alternative fuel source, and research shows that they're highly efficient at powering your brain. Your mental clarity increases, your focus sharpens, and that's not willpower, that's chemistry. Your body is designed to function in a fast state. We just never give it a chance because we eat the moment we wake up. When I started fasting until around 12 or 1, the difference was immediate. My mornings went from foggy to locked in, but the reality is that this is how my body responded. Your window might be different. You might feel best eating at 10 a.m. The point isn't the exact hour. The point is noticing when your focus is sharpest and building around that. You don't always need food to fuel your focus, but only your body can tell you when it needs fuel and when it needs space. Here's where most people get it wrong. They hear fasting and they think the goal is to not eat. It's not. The goal is to be intentional about how you eat, because what and how much you eat determines whether you keep your focus or lose it. When you eat too much or go heavy on the carbs, your body diverts blood flow to your gut to handle digestion. That puts you in a parasympathetic state, where your body's rest and digest process is happening. And that heavy, groggy feeling after a big meal, it's not laziness, it's biology. But food also fuels your neurons. Eating supports focus. The difference is how much and what. When you keep the meal lighter and prioritize protein over carbs, you get the brain fuel without triggering that shutdown. I learned this by paying attention. Even after I started fasting, I would break with a big meal and crash all over again. Sometimes I was like, I'm eating healthy, so why am I crashing? Why do I feel so bogged down? It's not like I'm eating refined sugar or refined carbs all the time. So I started to experiment with more protein, more fats, and fewer carbs. And the focus held. But what's light for me might not be light for you. And what matters is that you start noticing how your body responds to different meals. A plate that fuels one person might drain another, and you have to learn your own language with food. Fasting gives you the focus, and how you break it tells your body what to do next. Learn what your body needs to hear. Everything I just shared is what works for my body, and I found it by doing what most people skip. I actually listened. This isn't a rigid structure I follow every day. This is what I do when I know I need to show up focused. I got here by being intuitive, noticing when I felt good, when I crashed, what I ate before each one. Nobody gave me a specific plan, I just built a relationship with my body. I started treating food as a conversation. My body tells me what it needs and I respond. Some days it's a bigger meal, some days that's extending my fast. The structure changes because I change, and yours will too. I'm not a doctor, and I'm not telling you to follow my specific pattern. And if you have mental health issues around eating, then this might not be for you, and that is okay. Women should pay attention to how fasting also affects their cycle. What I am telling you is that your body is already communicating with you every single day through your energy, through your focus, through your cravings, your crashes, your skin. It's all information. Most people just never stop to hear it. Nobody can tell your body what it needs better than your own body. Your only job is to start listening. Here's what I want you to try. Tomorrow, before you eat, ask yourself one question. Am I actually hungry, or am I eating because the clock says I should? And after you eat, notice how you feel an hour later. Not how you think you should feel, how you actually feel. That's the one thing, and that's it. Just one thing. Because awareness is where everything starts. If this changed how you think about even one meal, subscribe. This is what we do here. We stop running on autopilot and start being intentional about how we fuel our bodies and show up in our lives. I'll see you in the next one.